Hello. So today we are going to learn about what is operating system. So it's an interesting topic. Operating system is the very vast knowledge, but I am going to today tell about that how operating system mostly used for and why it is needed. Okay. So operating system generally called as a system software. Before that, we have to understand about the computer system. Okay. So in a computer system, there is a two part. There is a hardware part, another is a software part. So in computer, there is a two part. One hardware, another is software. Okay. So this is the computer. Computer. There is a two parts. One is the hardware, another is the software. Okay. So it's a hardware. When it is comes to the hardware, there is all the peripheral devices, motherboard, and motherboard, there is a processor, everything inside the computer, inside the system, and external, that's all the peripherals. But in a software is the very important part because hardware is makes a computer more feeling and touchable, tangible, but software can't touchable and tangible. But without software, the computer is called as a that is not defined as a computer. Okay, so like a human. Okay, so inside a human, there is a bones are there, bloods are there is a organs are there. So likewise, blood is there, and each and every part of the human beings is very important. Like computer, inside a computer, there is the hardware components, and whatever the components we are using, all the software going to be enabled. Okay, software is going to be activating that hardware components. So without hardware, software can't exist. Without software, hardware can't exist. So hardware needs a software, and software is mostly going to be run. The hardware is in it. Okay, so it is very cooperative and dependent to each other. If there is a software, if there is no hardware, can't work. If there is a hardware and no software, we can't recognize how efficiency of the hardware. Everyone already know about that CPU. There is a gigahertz. How could you know the CPU runs on this amount of speed when the data is going to be processed? When the data, where the data is coming out through that software. So it's important. So on the computer basis, on the computer is the two parts. There's a one hardware part, another is the software part. So hardware already know about what's a tangible, and software there's a two part, very important part coming out. That is one is system software, another is the application software. One is the system software, another is the application software. Okay, so what is the system software? System software mostly belongs to the operate the hardware components, and it's related to the running the hardware components. Okay, mostly data flows are going on inside the hardware component through the system software. System software generally passing the data from one hardware component to the other hardware component. So this is the very important point because system software if not exist, the application software can come out or it can run. Okay, on the above of the system software, application software are running. Okay, so if it is clarified that directly from this figure, so this is the hardware part on the mid of that of your computer. Then there is another part is called the system software. Then part is the application software. Okay, then outside is the user. So this is the user, and this part is the application part, the application software, application software, and it is directly connected to that application software. And another, this one is the system software, system software. This part, this part is the hardware, very important part. This is called a hardware. Okay. So it's very important to know about that entire thing, because if you not understanding about how the entire configuration or entire things is going to work and process, it's a difficult to have understanding in depth of the system software or operating system. So operating system is the part of the system software. Compilers, translators, assembler, all the part of the system software. Okay, system software is directly linked to the hardware system, hardware components. Okay, so system software run above the hardware, application software run above the system software, and most of the application software also communicate with the system software. System software communicate with the hardware. After this video, I am going to be make another video that is called as a kernel. Okay, kernel is very important, and that is also linked to the system software. Every operating system holds the kernel part. Kernel programming or kernel is the very important, and how the kernel behaves. Okay, so that's a very interesting concept. So here system software means here mostly to operate the hardware, and system software takes the responsibility to run all the hardware components, and it will generally user friendly, and it is generally when you start on the computer, mostly system software activate, and after system software activate, it shows you a desktop mostly, and through the desktop some application software or some system software application softwares you can start communicating, like my computer, this piece. This is also system software interconnect with application software. They will interact you how your hard drives are partitioned, how the hard drives and which hard drive store your primary disks or primary drive and secondary, all the other drives. It's a separations you can visible through this system software, shows you through the application that called this PC. So system software is very important role is going to be play here in your computer system. And there is a application software. Application software is the different part. It's generally for the user. Okay, what type of problem they are facing in day to day, and that particular user is interested to solve the faster way by help of the computer. Application software are built. So inside the application software, lots of application software you are day to day generally going to be work. One of the most application software you are using MS Office, Adobe softwares. Most of the Adobe softwares is also coming up application software. When any particular software installed on your computer on the external port, from the external you generally come and install on your PC, that is comes out under the application software. And some system software, it is generally belongs to the operating system like Windows, Linux, Unix, and Unix is your first operating system after C. Using the C, it will put a completely written C, and Unix operating system is very advanced, and most of the operating system comes out from this Unix. Okay, the Linus Torvald will develop this particular operating system called Linux. It is the source of the Unix operating system, and Unix operating system is the master and master of all the operating system. Windows is better understanding better, and it generally gives to you graphical user interface. Windows is giving you graphical user interface where user can interact directly and very quickly to communicate with the system. Where Linux operating systems are generally not graphical user interface friendly, and it is generally designed in a command line interface. But upcoming time there is also there is Ubuntu, okay, Kali is a not that level of Kali Linux. Okay, it's not completely fully Linux. That's a Ubuntu like, but it's a Linux operating system mostly used for the hacking purposes. Ethical hacking. That is the main reason to use this. Okay, so understand. So system software comes under the operating system, and it is the vital part. When user anything is request, first it is goes to the application software to move on to the system software to move on to the hardware. Suppose user, you write a program, let's say any particular programming language, you have to write like int a, b, c, addition of two numbers. How it is will work? If you go for the addition of two numbers, okay, addition of two numbers. Suppose if I write here addition of two numbers, how it is work? addition of two numbers. So first of all, I am not writing entire code here, but simple form I am to define int a comma b comma c. So here I am directly initialize the 2, 3 and c is the result. C equal to a plus b, then printf %d to showcase your data on a message, on a console, on a screen. You have to write like format string, then complete. Okay. So this is the way you can write the 3 lines of code. This is actually 5 to 6 lines of code, but I am only reduced to 3 lines of code. So here what we have to give in here, first declaration a equal to b. What is the meaning? So when you write the instructions like this, first it will be goes to the system software to understand each line of instructions and it translate to the machine code. It translate to the machine code. So what is a machine code? Machine code is generally called as a binary. Okay, machine code is a binary code. Mostly it is called an object code. So these instructions are human understandable form. These instructions are human understandable form. So you have to translate these instructions to the machine understandable form through the compiler. Okay. So when compiler is translate, how the compiler understand each line of code to build the machine code, and that machine code is generally processed by the operating and the processor. So processor comes the hardware system, hardware component, CPU, that is called a central processing unit. Mostly that is stands for the arithmetic logic unit and control unit. Okay, CPU stands for both two things. CPU, it comes under the ALU plus C, arithmetic logic unit and control unit. Both of the combined create a CPU. But when it is a CPU, it's a hardware part. Only some control signals it's generated, some calculations part is going on inside this. But how it entire thing is going to be processed? First of all, understand the machine. All 3 lines of code converted to the machine code, and operating system takes the responsibility how these data are stored in a memory. So what type of memory it is going to be stored? Primary memory and it is secondary memory. In a primary memory comes under RAM, secondary memory comes out at a ROM, or you take it as a hard disk. Okay, ROM is also secondary memory, but it's generally not editable. Okay, it's already pre-written some instructions, just like a BIOS, basic input-output system, and that BIOS is a ROM BIOS and read-only memory BIOS. So it's generally temporary or primary memory, which is a RAM, random access memory, where a value store, a is the name of the variable, where it has some address and the 2 is stored on that address. So how this particular instruction is processed? By help of the operating system. So here one location is called as a, name of the location is a, this a location has some address, this a location has some address in a memory inside a RAM. Suppose I have given the address like this, mostly address in the hexadecimal form like this. Okay, and inside this there is a 2. So likewise B also stored like this, and after when the its operations coming out, equal to sign coming out, it is handled by the this CPU. Okay, this CPU handles these things. Control unit only instruct that operating system to do the specific actions, like initialize means assign the data to that particular location, just like a B equal to 3, that is also assign the data to the B location. Name of the location is B, each location has some address, and this address is generally allocated in a RAM. If you take it as a RAM, this is called a RAM. Okay, this is called a RAM, random access memory. So when it's a processed A plus B, it will returns to the result value in C. A plus B is the arithmetic operation done by the ALU, and C is the hold the result. C will be hold the result. Inside here, another 2 locations you have to register. Another is the B location, another result. Okay. So another it is given as a B, it is given as this C, and each location has address. Okay, and here 3 and here 5. The equal to sign is control unit will handle that thing, and after the end it will print on a console. So 5 will be fetching the data and showcase in your console. Console means here it taken as a terminal where this result is going to be through, a result is going to be shown. But in some cases, if you go for the graphical user interface, if you can show it in your screen also, in a computer screen also. Okay, but it is generally printing on the programming languages after process in the console or terminal. Fine. So all these operations and tasks is handled by the operating system. So operating system not is only doing this only thing as that on particular computer on. It is the entire all the operations like whatever the task is given to the operating system, it entirely does these things. And application software takes the all the user information by user text, and that is communicate with the operating system, and that operating system is communicate with the hardware. So without operating system, the hardware part is very complicated to work, because operating system run on above of the hardware and application software run above the system software, and the user generally sending the request to the application software. User on some of time they directly interact with the system software, but mostly the diagram is designed like in such a way that user first interact with the application software, then interact with the system software. Some scenario get that system software is directly connect with the user, but most of the basic and formal way you communicate first application software, then systems. So operating system is nothing but a set of lines of instructions, a collection of programs, okay, lots of programs, where each programs communicate to each other to solve a specific task. When BIOS is on, when you comes on the computer, BIOS is activated. When you on the computer, BIOS is activated. All the hardware components are going to be checked. After hardware components are going to be active, then operating system is loaded from the hardware to your RAM by help of the CPU. Understand what I am saying? When you switch on the computer, after switch on the computer, all the hardware components are active or not checked by the BIOS. BIOS, basic input output system. Okay, basic input output system. After BIOS, when check all the hardware components work perfectly, then it is directly sent to the signal to the hardware, and operating system is going to be loaded from the hard disk. They extracted all the information from the hard disk, load first cache memory, and to the direct memory to the RAM. After that, there is some different algorithms they are using operating system. Upcoming time, I also making the video on that algorithms, and after that, it will showcase on your screen. Welcome, and then desktop is ready to interact. Okay, so operating system is a collection of different lots of programs, lots of files communicate to each other, and with operating system is early 70s we are going to build. Unix is the one of the main operating system nowadays also, because whatever the operating system in future also, if you want to build your own operating system, you goes through the Unix operating system, first understand it, extract some resources from there, and build and give in your own name from that Unix operating system. So Linux, lots of open source operating system comes out from the Linux, and Linux Ubuntu is not open source, but it is a license, and Ubuntu is operating system is a good operating system on the part of the Unix operating system. Windows having the dense of GUI work, graphical user interface work, and due to that reason, graphical user interface generally more interactive for the user, and most of the user on the beginning time they directly go through the Windows operating system. And if you have a on home, there is some operating system like Linux, you can start the work, but there is some knowledge about that, how to start, how to run, because lots of commands are needed to run this operating system. Okay, so these are the points, very important points. If I miss it anything, okay, you can write in a comment section, or I give a suggestion if I have anything is going to be wrong or anything is different I am talking in this video. Give this give me comment in the comment. I go through there and update. Okay, that's all. Thank you.